Hi, good morning, everyone. I would like to share with you the interactive module writing. But before that, I also would like to encourage everyone to please post your questions on our chat box because later on, I will be giving some, just a little awards for the first 3 questions that will be posted in our chat box. I would like to share with you the PowerPoint presentations which I have prepared. All right, there it is. Why is it essential that a module is an interactive one? Why interactive? What is interactive module? According to Woods, an interactive module is also called an interactive training, wherein our learners feel being part of a group. And we also be able to tap their emotions. It is like they're not feeling alone. It's just like there's somebody beside them, talking with them, communicating with them. And then it also increases their knowledge retention. And the secret to that, according to Woods, are communication skills. And the hows and whys of interactive module writing has something to do with our arts of questioning. So therefore, as a writer or as an author of an interactive module, we should have these qualities. And that can be learned. According to Woods, there are 3 types of communication models. And these 3 standard models are the linear, the interactive, and the transactional. And each one offers a slightly different perspective on the communication process. But we will not be dealing to all. We'll only be dealing to one, the interactive communication process. Also, according to Woods, in his conceptual framework, there are 2 interacting agents in the interactive model of communication. And they are the sender and the receivers. And this sender and receivers, they're interacting agents, have their sources, different sources of field of experiences. At first, the sender is the author of the module, and that's the teacher. And the receiver are the students. But in the process, when the students have already answered the module, when he puts his feedback or answers in the module, he then becomes the sender. He then becomes the encoder of the new knowledge. And then when the module has been sent to the encoder, the encoder now will become the receiver. He will be the one now to decode the new message that has been put by the learners. Let's go deeper into that. According to Woods of 2009, concepts of interactive models, also known as convergence model, and it deals with a lot of exchanging ideas and messages taking place both ways from senders to receiver and vice versa. In an interactive model, whenever a source sends a message, or the teacher or the author of the interactive module, whenever he sends the message, he first the one to encode it. And then these interactive modules or interactive communication can be in different media. It can be module writing, which will be dealing with Telegram, emailing, video presentations, and the likes. The encoded message is then received by the receiver or the learners, where it is decoded to get the original information. This time in the process, the receiver acts as a source, or the one that encodes another message or new message, also known feedback or answers. And then it will be sent back to the author, to the sender. And that's we, the teachers. The message formation of both sources are affected by their field of experiences. They have different field of experiences, as I was mentioned a while ago, like different culture, different social background, psychology, different situations and channels or platforms that they use. And it is also expected that there are overlapping field of experiences that initiate conversation and expands a communicator's field of experiences. These factors also affect the message interpretation. And that's now the problem, because the answers of the sender or the learners are so authentic and so varied. How are we going to address this? And according to Woods, we have to devise parameter. So there are 5 components of an interactive module. One is for us to devise a parameter or a rubric, and we know that. We must remember that in an offline module, we are dealing with a self-paced learners whose accessibility to multimedia materials is very much open. And we cannot control them. Their answers so authentic, they can explore many things, they can go on here, on there, especially when there are no one beside them. And that's the fear, the apprehensions of our parents now. That's why they said in the news, tutors now on rise, because parents now are looking at the possibility of hiring tutors at home. Our assessments must make sense according to Woods. An interactive training like module writing or interacting module like we will be writing allows us to assess our learners' performance spontaneously and non-intrusively. We cannot control them with such responses. So authentic, a lot of meaning making, so varied responses. So what are we gonna do? Assessments for interactive courses like this usually comes with the different forms of scenarios instead of a regular quizzes or tests. Number 2, according to Woods, let us make our interactive modules for the kids just like a face-to-face conversation, as if we are talking with them, as if we are just beside them, as if they're not alone. So we have to customize it according to their needs. Let us have our receiver feels that he or she is not alone. In an interactive training programs, it must build emotions, just like what the Chinese proverb says. When you tell me, I forget. When you teach me, and I may remember. Involve me. Let me explore. Let me test it. Let me try it. Let me manipulate it. And I will learn. And this might be the most important benefit of making online classes. But in the interactive module, we can do that. Also, we have to let our students explore. We should not limit their environment or space. According to Woods, we have to enhance exploration process, because when the learners have the ability to explore their environment, the learning environment, they get more interested and excited, and they keep coming back for more. So we have to transform our activities, these activities, into varied activities. And let's see to it that we give our learners the elements of surprise. Also, we have to do simulation. We have to simulate the activities. When we say simulation, we are putting them into a real life situation wherein they are bound to make new actions according from their learnings. Interactive simulation are based on reality-based situations. Scenarios provide better learning opportunities than lectures, than static text or videos. And it gives learners the ability to put knowledge into action. And number 5, it is important that we contact them, that we set a communications, not space, but communication channel between us and the learners. We have to give them our contact email addresses. If we will be allowed, maybe our cell phone numbers, so as for feedbacking, for questions, for clarifications, for communication process. Let us make our moments with them memorable. Let's have an impact on our learners. Thank you, but that's just a theoretical framework. This time, please allow me to click again on another presentations, and that's the module, interactive module that I have prepared, so that we'll be having an example or model. So I'll just stop sharing this PowerPoint at the moment so that we can allow another file. Okay, that's it. I hope you see it. All right, look at this template of the interactive module. It's nonetheless different from what we are submitting. The only difference is that the ones that we were doing before is teacher-centered, meaning we do the teaching module. So as when we were absent, when we are out, when we are not around, another teacher may be able to use it for their purpose, for teaching. But this time, this module must be in the perspective of our students. This must be customized according to their needs. Therefore, I'd like to show you the first page of this model template. You see some informations or contents can be gotten from our LMS. Just copy and paste it here. The first page of this module is more onto the informations, the content of this module, a brief introduction, module objectives. But on the 5th part of this introduction page is the module outcomes. There is a difference than one that we were using before. This time, we will not be writing here. At the end of the lesson, the students are expected to. Rather, we write it this way. You as a learner is expected to experience a sense of belongingness, etc., develop attitudes. We have to call the attention of the learner that this module is for him to be able to communicate with, for him to be able to learn with. Even if he is alone, he does not feel that because this module is customized for him. In the scenario that he will have to develop the following competencies, which stated here. On the lesson proper of this module, oh, by the way, have you observed that this module was divided into 2 columns? The left column belongs for the teacher, for his directives, and the right column belongs, or rather it is for the students. That is where they're going to work on. On the left side, you'll see the directions are written in a customized way, or in the scenario that as if the teacher or the module is the teacher, as if that the teacher is just around or just beside the student. It's why at the getting started, part 1, I wrote there, "Hi, I am your coach for this subject. I am your name, and my email address is the email address of the faculty." And also some affirmation statements such as, "I hope that this module may help you enhance your knowledge in whatever subjects that you teach." And then another affirmation or inspirational message maybe, "Your tasks are on the right side." So you give them a direction that he has to answer on the other part of the module, the right column. And then some inspirational message still to affirm the student, just like, "Now that you are ready, let's get started." You can make it more creative than the one that I made. You can be more creative than I. Can you explain? All right. On the first activity, you have to write the title, of course. And it's in the bold letters. And the arts of questioning is so important so as to engage our students. In this activity, I wrote here, "Can you explain the meaning of the following quotations?" So I'd like to have a grasp of what the students is thinking about. So I asked him, "Can you?" Now, of course, in the activities, at the end of this activity, let's put some, clip art, some clip arts, and then some affirmative statements, just like, "Congratulations for a job well done," so as to inspire our students so that they won't feel like they're alone. And then another directions, very customized, as if you're talking with the students, says, "Now try to contemplate with these questions. Take your time to answer. You may also use reference to find out the meaning of these words." Look at the question, the way I wrote it. This time, I involve myself as the author or as the teacher. I have not left alone my students in answering the module because this question, I involve myself. So I wrote it here. What do we mean by diverse and unique? Because it is not just the students that diverse and unique. I also is diverse and unique. That's why I involve myself in the question, what do we mean by? And of course, let's not forget that we have to have a goal in mind. That's why our enduring understanding will be also included in the arts of questioning so that we'll be able to have a grasp of how the student develops along the way. Apart from that, this enduring understanding is very much important. The way or the approach that I use it here is what we call the semantic approach. Because from time to time, in this module, the author will have to rewrite again that enduring understanding, if not in all activities, in some activities, so as to strengthen the understanding, the end goal in mind that we want to impart to our students. Now, in the part 2 of this lesson proper is the introduction, the discussion of the content of the lesson. This time, your activity 2, it's like a motivation. So, it's different from the first one. Put there a picture. By the way, when we are using resources, we have to recognize, we have to right there the author or maybe the sources where you get your your data so that we will not be sued onto plagiarism. All right. Again, on the left side of this module is the direction, and as if I'm talking with the students. At this point in time, let's try some deepening activities. Let us explore further. And again, the arts of questioning. If it's necessary for us to use, how, what do you think? to find out the answers or the minds, whatever the ideas have the students have in mind, then we use what do you. But if it's necessary to involve ourselves in the scenario of processing the question, then we use what do we, what do we, or why do we, how do we. And again, the enduring understanding, the goal in mind. Again, this is a semantic approach wherein we have to go back and forth with the enduring understanding so that we'll be able to target that understanding that we would like to impart to our students. And also, there's a leeway in this interactive module wherein you just give some lectures for the students to read, but not necessary for them to answer. Just reading materials. So I wrote there, to strengthen your understanding of our topics, I have decided to give you these reading materials. I didn't say they'll have to answer it. They just have to read it. And also I reminded them or told them, please take your time to read. But aside from reading, I didn't give given them any task anymore. Just to give them a wee hour, you know, times they need to rest. On the third activity is another variation of presentation. This time, a video presentation and analysis. All you have to do is click on with the link. And then if you want the students to make another product or another action, like for example, I want them to translate their answers in a concept matrix or mind map, we must not assume that they knew it, that all of them knew it. Others may know it, others may not, others, they don't care. So let's give them a grasp of what a concept matrix or mind map is. Let's give them a reference where they can read it, or maybe an introduction of what a concept matrix or mind map is. Or maybe would be better if you give them a visual presentation like this one. And also don't forget, when you write your directions, it must be customized. It must be onto the perspective of the students. Like for example, what about clicking on your net? Enjoy watching the video clip. The link is given to you on the right column. Try to type on the YouTube taskbar. Be honest not to click on the other obscene video. Oh, we have also to give parameter to the values that might have been caught by our students, no? They might be experimenting on some obscene videos. That's why we were reminded by one of our speakers, if it's possibly we avoid using YouTube, rather we customize our videos and upload it in our system. That is safer than using YouTube. All right. And then again, the arts of questioning, and provide them some spaces so that they can answer on it. And then another activity, this time script writing or a screenplay. But thinking not everybody don't know how to make or how to write a screenplay, we have to give them a knowledge or a grasp of what it is all about. So maybe we can give them a little introduction, what a script writing is all about, and some link so that they can strengthen their knowledge on script writing. And of course, let's not forget to include our rubric so as for the students to have a scenario or a grasp of how will they be graded. And if you have a reference, if you got it from somewhere else, you put the reference. If it's a teacher made, then put their teacher made. And that this time in the application. Application part can be the performance task or the PETA. It can be a collaborative or interdisciplinary activity. This time, I asked the students to make a proposal or design a proposal. Should they have no knowledge yet of what a proposal all about? Well, give them, again, we'll give them a link or give them some additional readings about this. All right, so again, the directions is so customized as if I'm talking with the students. After having been engaged in several activities in this module, I would like you to assess your learning by doing the PETA on the right column of this module. Again, this might seemingly be an individual performance task, but it can be an interdisciplinary because checking a proposal can be also interactively done by other subjects like English and so on and so forth. And then the reference, if you have the rubrics, put it here also. And that particular PETA is intended for an enrichment activities. And for this activity number 6, I would like them to have this meet and greet activity. It's an optional activity, might be in an MS Team or video conference or Zoom real-time video conference. So I asked them to write or design their own proposal so that in this particular activity of meet and greet, the students would have a sense of ownership. They were the ones who devised, who designed the program that will transpire during this meet and greet activity. And then again, your directions must be customized as if you're talking with your students. And at the end of this activity, since it's nearly the end of the module, affirm again. Some clip arts and then some affirmative statements like, wow, you're almost done. And then the last is the assessment. I asked them to make a freedom wall, but since we are not physically in the school or in the university, so we will not ask them to post something on the wall around the campus. Rather, posting might be in the multimedia or in their social media. But again, we have to give them parameter, or we have to remind them to, to avoid obscene videos or obscene scenarios, and also remind them not to use profane languages. And also you can request them not to forget to tag you. And before, by the way, before posting this in their social media, teachers, we have to look onto their works. We have to approve whether or not it can be posted already. So as we have to edit first, some students, we have to remind them from time to time so as to avoid using of profane languages, so as not, to create problems in the future. And since this is the end of the module, then another clip arts, clapping hands, or maybe a smiley, and then some affirmative statements like, congratulations, you've finished the first module, whether it's the first module, second module, it's up to you. That can be editable. So this is an editable file. I'll share it with you. I'll send it to our administrators so that we will be guided. Should this be adapted? And of course, the last part of the module is the references part. Let us acknowledge all the references and the people wherein we borrowed some ideas. We have these moral responsibilities of acknowledging these experts. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for your time. I hope I was able to share with you some tidbits of knowledge. And this time, I'd like to give the floor, the opportunity to one of my colleagues in social studies, Mr. Tristan Laruan, to facilitate the question and answer portion. However, by the way, before I forget, the first 3 questions will be given some sort of small rewards. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.